or you are going to build? Because the answer you give is going to determine the pathway that you are going to go. Now, we received a question from one of our subscribers on TikTok, and he said, "Hi, sir, I am a fan of your channel. Currently, I need your advice on a project. I got the opportunity to work in the UK this year, so clearly I haven't saved enough. But I have a friend who is selling a plot of land in Adam. He says it's close to the road, and also there's a hospital nearby. I am yet to visit the land myself, but his price is affordable, which is 12,000 cedis. Would you advise me to purchase this land considering the location? And if yes, what kind of structure would you suggest I put up? Personally, I'm looking at building and renting it out, mostly to the health workers. Kindly help me out on this. Thank you." And this is a really, really good question that, based on the question that this subscriber asked, we decided to do this video to answer the 10 questions that we believe everybody should know when they are putting up a building project. And so the very first question is, are you buying or you are building? Now, when we look at the question that this subscriber asked, right, it's clear that he doesn't have a lot of money. Therefore, he cannot even buy. And so these are some of the considerations. If you're on a low budget, you want to build, you can, control the time, you can control the quality, you can control the design. But if you have access to a mortgage, you have a lot of money, you probably want to buy an already completed house. Kindly confirm if you can hear me and the stream is going well. Okay, so it looks like the stream is going well. Good, good, good. All right, so let's move to the next point. Now, the next point is whether you are going to put up a private or a commercial property, which is also very important. Are you building to rent or are you building to sell? Are you building for yourself? The answer to these questions is going to determine when next you go with your property, right? And so this guy is building to rent because the land that somebody's selling to him is by the roadside, is near a hospital, and in his mind, he wants to build something that he can rent. He doesn't want to sell, he wants to rent it out. And that is another really good point. And the next question that you need to ask yourself is the location of the land. How conducive is it for the plans that you have for it, for private or for commercial, for building to rent or building to sell? How many people are willing to purchase a house in that area and at what price? Or how many people are willing to rent a house in that area and for what amount? These are really, really important questions, because if you are going to put up a 4-bedroom house, right, are the people in that area willing to pay for a 4-bedroom house, or they are willing to pay for a 2 or 3-bedroom house, or even a chamber and hall? So the location is really, really critical, and you need to ask yourself that question about the location. Then again, the land. Are you buying a half plot, quarter plot, full plot? How much does it cost? Is the area known for litigation, land guard, all these things? You need to answer it. Really, really important. And then the next question you need to ask yourself is the design of the house. Are you putting up a story building, or are you putting up a normal bungalow styled house? Because all these are also going to affect the total cost of the building project. And then you need to ask yourself, this property I'm putting up, am I going to outsource it, contract it to somebody, or I'm going to build and manage it myself? Do I have the necessary skills to be able to build without compromising on the quality? Or where am I even going to get the workers from? How am I going to know the mixed ratios? How am I going to know that this artisan I'm using is better than the next artisan? You need to be able to have the experience, or else you probably need some help or guidance to ensure that your building project goes well. So you need to ask yourself that question. Once you have answered these first six, the next one is funding. How am I going to fund my building project? What is my current investment portfolio like? What is my current savings amount like? How much am I earning on a monthly basis? How much am I spending? These are really, really important questions that you need to ask yourself. Or do I have access to a mortgage, soft loan? Do I have access to people who can support me financially to push my building project? The next one is supervision. How am I going to supervise the project? Am I in the country where the building project is ongoing, or I am in the diaspora, and who is going to supervise on my behalf? What are the tools I need for supervising, even if I'm on ground and I'm going? What knowledge must I have? What questions should I ask when I go to sites? What do I need to look out for? And like I promised, we are going to take each of these topics in upcoming lives and make sure that what we are going to do is every week we pick one, we discuss it into detail, and then we bring it to a conclusion. So if you like that kind of content, please subscribe and turn on all notifications so you don't miss those kind of videos. Now, the next question that you need to ask yourself is the materials, right? What kind of materials are you going to use? Blocks, wood, which kind of iron rods? Are you doing bricks? Are you doing interlocking bricks? Are you doing glass? Are you doing stones? Are you doing there are so many things, shipping container homes, etc. All these are really important questions you need to ask yourself. And then also roofing. What kind of roofing are you going to use? Really, really important. And then finally, the finishing. Are you going to buy in Ghana or are you going to import? And this one, I've had so many questions on this topic that I would rather want us to pick this one, God willing, next week. And then we can move on from there to the other questions. Sorry about what happened with the previous live. The camera disconnected. I don't know how come. So you can please bring your questions again. Unfortunately, I missed out the questions in the previous live, but I remember one question that somebody asked. He asked about a borehole and the fact that, so in fact, I was explaining the borehole and then something said I should come to YouTube and come and see some of the comments, and I heard, oh, no sound, no sound, no sound. So apologies. He asked that if Kwabenya around the KNUST, right, the land there is salty, or if it's good to drill a borehole. And I was explaining that some of these things is very difficult to tell because in my own area, which is still around the KNUST area, the street where I live on, almost all the houses that have completed drilled a borehole. On that street, there are like 10 houses minimum. Only 2 of us had clean water without salt. The rest of them, all the water is salty. And I was thinking, if the houses are so close together, how come somebody is able to drill and theirs is salty and the next person's, or like mine, it's not salty? It's so strange. It's so strange. I find it very difficult to explain, but I'm not an expert in borehole matters, right? So for this particular one in Kwandia, I would say get an expert to look at it for you. Usually there are some tests they can do and all that to tell whether the water quality is going to be good. But if it's salty, you need to do a lot of treatment. So with the question that the subscriber asked, whether you're watching the live or you're watching the replay, please, I want you to comment your answers in the comment section, right? So I'm going to read the live ones, and then I'm also going to screenshot the replay ones and send to him so that can be a blessing to him. And so he's asking, would you advise me to purchase this land considering the location? And if yes, what kind of structure would you suggest I put up? Personally, I'm looking at building and renting it out, mostly to the health workers. Kindly help me out on this. Thank you. Now, before I even go ahead and say, my dear subscriber, go ahead and purchase the land, right? That's like putting a lot of responsibility on me. Whenever you're purchasing land, we've made a lot of videos. Ensure to do your due diligence, right? Go to Lands Commission, go and do your official search. Don't just say the land is cheap or the person is giving you pressure that, oh, if you don't come and buy, somebody will buy and all these things. Whenever people are giving you a lot of pressure, you should be very concerned, especially in Ghana, but generally applies anywhere in the world. But hey, Charlie, if you don't bring the money tomorrow, somebody else, I'll sell the land. It's better for the person to sell the land and you miss the opportunity than for you to dash your 12,000 cedis. So I would advise that you take your time and then you do your due diligence. Go to Lands Commission, go and do your official search, and then have the confidence that this person selling you the property has the right to sell you the property. For me, it is super important before much of your money goes into the building project. So that's the first one. Again, the second one is the location. He's saying, based on the location, would I recommend that he buys it? So assuming you've gone and you've done your due diligence, you've ascertained that, oh, the land is legit and all that, right? The location seems to be good. But when I posted this in the community tab, somebody came and said the area is waterlogged. So that's another level of due diligence you need to do. Somebody contacted me just yesterday, right? He had a property around Spintex that he wanted to go and purchase. And he wanted me to come and take a look at it. And I said, one of the things that you can do to see if not just the property is good, but the area you are going to live in is good, is that now that we are in the rainy season in Ghana, right? Everybody knows April, May, June is like peak rainy season in Ghana. Just go there after some heavy rains and see the nature of the roads. One. Two, see the house, whether there are leakages and things like that after a heavy rain. Sometimes you need to go even uninvited, like go without telling the person that you are coming. And then when you are in the area, tell them, oh, I'm in the area and I felt I wanted to look at the property again. It will let you see the true state of the property. So again, this one where you are in the UK and you cannot go there and check physically, get somebody you trust to go and look at it after it has rained and see the nature of the land. Okay, really, really important, because if it's waterlogged, it's not the same as building on an area where they don't suffer from these water-related issues, right? Because the level of treatment you need to do to your land before you can confidently and comfortably build on it if it's waterlogged is completely different from somebody who is building on an area where it's not waterlogged. Let me read some of the comments. Salome says, good evening, family, watching from Spain. Good to see you always. HGFB says, okay, we can hear you. All right. Justice says, now clearly. Thank you. So please keep your comments coming. Keep your comments coming. So we've answered the issue of the land, right? You need to do your due diligence, ensure it's litigation free. Now we've looked at the location. And I'm saying location is not just about there's a hospital nearby, but location is also the access to the land, right? Is there a good road? Because if I'm going to look for a property to rent, I want one that has good access. I want one that has good roads. I want one that has good security, right? What is the history of the area? You need to ask all those questions. So it's not just about the fact that there's a hospital and your land is by the roadside. What has been the issues in the area? Not just on the land, though, in the area, right? Because if it's prone to litigation, land guards and things, or armed robberies in the area and things like that, then you don't probably want to move into the area. Or certain hooligans have been frequenting the area, or rituals and all these things, right? You need to ask and find out the area, the land, the location. What is the history? Does it get waterlogged and all these things? Very, very important. Is the salt in the earth? Because if it's a dam and it's close to the sea, most likely if you drill a borehole, the water is going to be salty. Is there good access to water, right? Because if you can't drill, does the Ghana water connect to the homes in the area? Or where do they get water from? So there are so many decisions that you need to make, like so many factors and so many questions you need to answer before you would even proceed to go and then buy the land, right? It's not just the price is good and the location is good. Okay. And then the next one that we spoke about, so we've